It feels like if you stop paying attention to AI for a day or two, that you can feel months behind. I mean, look what's just happened in the last week. We found out that after Apple's big announcement, they're apparently not paying OpenAI. Microsoft is facing a huge AI setback, and there may be a new Sora competitor that's available now. Yeah, there's always so much going on in the world of AI. That's why we do AI news that matters every single Monday here at Everyday AI. What's going on, y'all? My name's Jordan Wilson, and I'm the host of Everyday AI, and this is for you. This is your daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter helping everyday people like you and me learn and leverage generative AI, growing our companies, growing our careers. That's what we do here. So if you're joining us on the podcast, thank you as always, for joining us. Make sure to check out your show notes, always more information. And if you're joining us live, I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything that's happening in the generative AI space. And there's a lot, and we're going to get to it here in a second. But first, I wanted to give a little bit of an announcement. Yeah, we got something, a first, maybe ever, happening here on the Everyday AI show live tomorrow. So you have to tune in for this. I believe it's the first ever time that we'll have an AI clone live trying to stump a human. The human's me, right? So, yes, tomorrow you've got to join us. It's going to be an amazing show. And here's the thing: this is happening live. So I've partnered with Our One, an amazing company, and I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say I have no clue what my AI clone is going to say. We're going to be doing it live. My AI clone is going to be trying to drill me and stump me on everything AI. I'd be lying if I didn't say I was nervous. I'm a little nervous, right? My AI clone is probably smarter than me. So make sure to tune in tomorrow and find out. That's going to be a fun one. All right. But every Monday, we go over the AI news that matters. And that's what we're going to be doing right now. So this is your one-stop place. Every Monday, we do this, bringing you the AI news that matters. So you don't have to waste hours every single week wondering what's going on. You just tune in Mondays with Everyday AI, and we'll take care of it for you. All right. And hey, to our live stream audience, thanks for joining us. Tara joining from Nashville, and Jennifer and Woozy joining us from Kansas City. Love to see it. Brian joining us. Thank you. Fred from Chicago, like myself. All right. So would love to hear what you guys think of the AI news today. So let's get it started off. Well, reports are saying that Apple is not getting paid, or sorry, Apple is not paying. Apple's definitely getting paid, but reports are saying Apple is not paying OpenAI for their partnership that they announced at their Apple Intelligence Conference. All right, so Apple recently announced the partnership with OpenAI, which is a pretty significant move in the AI industry. But the deal does not reportedly involve direct monetary exchanges, but focuses on increased exposure for OpenAI's ChatGPT through Apple devices. So pretty interesting, right? It's like, yeah, again, this is just reporting, but apparently I do have to repeat that out loud. According to many reports, OpenAI is not getting paid for integrating into Apple's operating system. Wild. So kind of like OpenAI is getting the unpaid intern treatment from Apple. So both parties aim, though, to benefit in the long run, potentially through increased revenue indirectly. Here's the thing people are talking about. Well, OpenAI is probably going to face way higher costs, right, due to increased demand for its ChatGPT chatbot, requiring more processing power from who? Microsoft. Yeah, that's right. So OpenAI does offer, obviously, subscription plans like ChatGPT Plus for $20 a month, featuring advanced language models and image generation. Apple obviously stands to gain a lot from this, right? So I'm going to give you my take here. But aside from that, also all subscription purchases through the ChatGPT app, Apple will reportedly be collecting 30% of that transaction, which is their standard percentage for anyone that sells things on their iOS or OS systems. So the partnership between Apple and OpenAI includes a lot. If you missed Apple's event last Monday, we recapped everything. But essentially, ChatGPT and OpenAI and their GPT-4o model are powering a lot of the quote unquote Apple intelligence that's going to be running future versions of iOS and Mac OS, including some pretty close integration with Siri and Apple shortcuts, enhancing user experience across Apple's ecosystem. But again, without that direct monetary transaction. So the negotiation dynamics between the tech giants also raises questions about the balance of power and the value exchange in the AI industry. OpenAI is now valued at nearly $100 billion after they reported nearly $4 billion in revenue for the year, and they're expected to navigate from the partnership successfully despite the absence of direct payment from Apple. So I know it's not Tuesday. I'm going to give some hot takes, but hey, live stream audience, what's your thoughts on this? Right? Tara's saying it could be another, Fortnite versus Apple. And Christopher, yes, you do have to wonder what data OpenAI is getting from Apple. I'm going to say probably not as much as people think. Apple, if there's one thing that they are rock solid on, it is data privacy. So I don't believe OpenAI has a lot to gain from the data. But here's what I think is happening here, right? Reading between the lines, and we talked about this in our newsletter. So y'all, if you are not reading our newsletter, you have to read it. We really dig between the lines, do even original reporting. So you need to be checking out our newsletter at youreverydayai.com. But here's my thoughts. Well, I have two different thoughts. Thought number one, I do think that OpenAI obviously has a lot to gain financially, right? There's billions with a B, billions of Apple devices out there in the wild. Not all of them are going to be able to access this Apple intelligence because it does require newer versions of the iPhone, newer versions of a Mac if you have a Mac. However, one thing that was kind of slyly mentioned Monday at Apple's WWDC announcement was that some of their future capabilities, specifically of Siri, would be able to take advantage of the ChatGPT Plus account. Okay, so right now, and at least the things that Apple demoed reportedly are going to be available for free, right? So all Apple users technically get free access to GPT 4.0, which also OpenAI offers right now. However, Apple did mention that there will be some increased functionality, specifically in its operating system with Siri, that could take advantage of the paid version of ChatGPT Plus, right? So, if I'm being honest, the version of Siri that Apple kind of demoed was not very impressive, right? I even talked about on the show and in the newsletter last week, the one or two kind of queries that it demonstrated, the one it got actually pretty wrong, right? It was asking about the weather, and Siri did not even say the temperature out loud, which is, I think, the only thing people really want to know when they ask a smart assistant about the weather, right? So, number one is, I think, obviously OpenAI has a lot to gain if some of those more advanced functionalities of Apple's future operating system are tied to the user integrating a paid ChatGPT Plus account, which I think is what's going to happen, right? No one's really talking about that, but I think that's ultimately why OpenAI decided to do this, kind of unpaid internship agreement. Here's the other part. So yes, obviously, I think that this is going to lead to billions of dollars in revenue from OpenAI that they would not have otherwise had. Obviously, huge advantage. Here's what I think no one is talking about. OpenAI had all of the leverage, all of it. And Apple would have been completely screwed without OpenAI. Y'all, we've been talking about this for months here on the Everyday AI show. Go back, listen to it, right? We said, because there's all this reporting. Originally, Apple was going to be just relying on its own model. It is using its own model, but just for a fraction of what's happening kind of on device or edge AI. But for the most part, for anything kind of powerful, quote unquote, or robust, it's using ChatGPT and OpenAI's GPT 4.0. But some of the original reporting is Apple going to be, just doing this all in-house with their own large language model? So we know the answer to that right now is no. And then there was reporting a lot back and forth for many months saying that, Apple's going to be, partnering with Google. Apple's going to be partnering with Anthropic. Apple's going to be partnering with OpenAI. And there's all this reporting back and forth. And I said, Apple has zero choice. Their only choice, their model wasn't ready, and Google's Gemini and Anthropic's Claude are not good enough, period. Right? So OpenAI, I think, had all the leverage in the world. They could have squeezed Apple, right? They could have put on this squeeze on Apple and said, and realized what I think anyone who follows the space knows this, right? I'm sorry. Yes, I do have to get my own bias out there. I am a fan of OpenAI and ChatGPT, but because they're better, they are exponentially better. The GPT 4o model is exponentially better than Gemini 1.5, than Claude 3, um, Opus. It's not even close. So it's interesting here that OpenAI did agree to this, kind of, oh, we're gonna get this increased exposure. So we'll have more. Yeah, like Tanya's saying, obviously OpenAI is gaining a lot of users for sure. But I think they could have gotten a little more out of it. All right, let's keep going on. So Microsoft is delaying its recall feature launch on new laptops amid privacy concerns. So Microsoft's new laptops are going to be shipping without this new recall feature due to privacy and cybersecurity concerns. That's according to some recent reports. So yes, the new Copilot Plus PCs are expected to be shipping this week, but without one of Microsoft's most highly touted AI features in this recall. So recall was essentially a feature enabling the AI assistant Copilot to have a photographic memory of literally everything that happened on the PC, right? So if you think of how your internet has browsing history, the recall feature was supposed to literally essentially record everything that happened on your new Microsoft Copilot Plus PC. Reportedly, it was taking a screenshot every 5 seconds, heavily compressed, but then you could just go ask Copilot anything that you've done. However, it looks like now that is going to be tabled because of a lot of privacy concerns. And we talked about that last week. Obviously, Microsoft going to Capitol Hill here in the US and testifying before Congress. So, but what Recall did aim to do was to help users search their activity timeline efficiently and leveraging Copilot's AI to retrieve past actions such as web browsing, productivity usage, making it a potent tool. However, now it's shipping without it. So Recall will not be going out this week, according to reports, and will first be tested by the Windows Insider Program users to ensure quality and security standards are met. And also, whereas before Recall was allegedly going to be an opt-out feature, now when it does debut, it will be an opt-in feature, requiring explicit user permission during setup to address some of these privacy concerns by making it clear users have to actively enable it. So this is, I'd say, one of the first times that we've seen from Microsoft them kind of have a little fumble in their AI strategy. However, I'm not too concerned about this feature and the privacy or Microsoft. Here's the reality, y'all. Whether we are used to living in this world or not, the future world of where we work is AI is technically going to be monitoring everything we do, right? I mean, we've seen, obviously the hardware, the AI hardware that's come out has flopped, which I expected it to because a lot of these first hardware devices were pretty bad, right? But the future, I think, is people are going to have AI hardware, right? That is just really paying attention to the entire world around them, right? Recording everything that happens. Whether you like it or not, that is the future of how we work and how we interact with people, right? And I know that might rub people the wrong way. And yes, we do have to keep data privacy and our internet security in mind. But y'all, when it comes, here's what's going to happen. In the end, business decisions and those business decisions impact our personal lives as well. They are made with productivity in mind. So, do you really think an enterprise company is going to say no to this recall feature once it is rolled out? I don't think so. I think most companies, especially now in a remote world, in a hybrid world, they're going to want recall. You know why? It's also going to expose, right? You would hope companies wouldn't use it like this, but I guarantee you there are IT rooms and C suites everywhere just salivating over this because they don't want to be that company that, is big brothering over their remote employees. But recall is going to enable that, right? Where it is going to be recorded locally. And I'm sure some companies, instead of, some companies say, oh, submit timesheets, submit, your project statuses. I think some companies are just going to somehow have people submit a recall report. I'm sure there's going to be a third-party software out there that can essentially scrape what users worked on, right? It is right now, at least according to Microsoft, everything is very private. Everything lives locally. It's not all of that data is not uploaded to the cloud. But I think it's only a matter of time until quote unquote Big Brother or, companies, public companies that have a lot of remote employees are going to want this. They're going to want this running and they're going to want to see what employees are working on. So, hey, whether you want it or not, I do believe that many people are not going to have a choice. We are going to see recall. Personally, I'm excited about it. I was getting ready to buy a new Microsoft Plus PC literally this week just so I could use this. However, we'll see because it's not rolled out yet. So there's some uncertainty around it. But hey, stay tuned. We're always going to be keeping you up to date on that one. Yeah, big brother. Yeah, it's big brother right there. All right. Next piece of AI news. There is a new Sora competitor, and it beat OpenAI's Sora to the punch, at least by being the first widely available, I'd say next tier of AI video technology that's available to everyone. So Luma AI has introduced Dream Machine, a new text to video model with advanced capabilities that they are hoping will revolutionize AI video creation. All right, so it is available now to all users worldwide, which really makes it, I think, the first model in this tier of quality that is available to everyone. So OpenAI did announce 6 months ago their new Sora platform. And then about 2 weeks ago, the Chinese company introduced Kling, but that is only available if you have a Chinese phone number. So I would say right now, Luma AI's Dream Machine is probably the best AI text to video, photo to video software out there. So a little bit more about Dream Machine. If you pay attention to our newsletter, we showed you exactly, we gave you an overview. We showed you how to use it for free. So make sure you check that out and we'll be resharing it today too. But Dream Machine offers high resolution video creating, realistic motion and physical simulation, and flexible aspect ratios for varied platforms and use cases. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. Let's just take a look at a little clip here for our live stream audience. And if you're listening on the podcast, make sure you can go check this out. So let's just go ahead and take a little look here. So this is an example that Luma AI shared from a company called Monster Library. So I'll explain this to our live stream audience. And hey, live stream audience, I'm just going to share a little bit here, but let me know if you can hear this. Hopefully you can, but it's almost like we're getting some Monster Inc. type vibes. So this is kind of a fun, animated, but very high quality animation here. So let's just take a quick 30-second look or so here at this example that Luma Labs shared on its social media accounts. Let's go ahead and watch, and live stream audience, let me know if you have sound here.
When school is finally out, there is only one place a monster can play all summer long. A place where worries melt away. And that place is Monster Camp.
All right, so I'm not going to play the entire video, but I mean, for our live stream audience, what do you think of the quality there? So yes, this is an animated, an animated one here, but there were other examples that we shared in our newsletter that show more of the kind of photorealistic, right? So here's if you need the 101 on these AI image generators, right? I'll give it to you. Because right now, text to video is not that great with any platform that is publicly available. I think text to video with Kling, which is not available if you are outside China, is much better than Luma's Dream Machine, but their Dream Machine photo to video is pretty good, right? And I'll say right now, and I'll give you the rankings in our newsletter, but I still think from a quality standpoint, Dream Machine is not yet up there from examples we've seen with Sora, from what we've seen with Kling, but I do think it is significantly ahead of all of the other platforms that we've had access to, such as Runway and such as Pika Labs. So I do think, at least for the best publicly available AI video tool out there right now, I do have to say it's Dream Machine, but that's only a matter of time until either the rest of the world outside of China gets access to Kling, or until OpenAI does release Sora to everyone, because right now it's in the hands of a limited few. All right. Yeah. Hey, Tara says she would watch that movie in theaters. Yeah, I think for and Cecilia said Sweet Monster Camp. Um, I do think for animated videos, I think we're going to start seeing animated shorts almost immediately, just completely generated with AI. I don't think it's there yet for more photorealistic, but as Midjourney, right? Because a lot of people that are using these AI video tools, whether it's Pika, Runway, or even Dream Machine from Luma, I think they're just using Midjourney images. So as Midjourney images get better and better, and these AI video platforms get better and better, I think we're also going to be seeing very soon both advertisements, marketing campaigns, and shorts that look like quote unquote real life sooner rather than later. All right. We have two more quick pieces of AI news. Let's get to it. So, Amazon. Yeah, we got some news from Amazon here. So, Amazon is a little behind. They're a little behind with Alexa, according to some recent reports. So, a Fortune report looked at a little bit more about how Alexa is having a tough time keeping up with its other AI smart assistant competitors. So, despite obviously being a leader in the voice assistant game, being one of the first with Alexa, this new report shows that there's some internal chaos at Amazon and some tech hurdles that the company is apparently not clearing. So this new AI powered Alexa, according to reports, is just not getting developed. All right. So there are even some people internally that are afraid that it might not even get released. So Alexa's development has been hindered by internal challenges and integration issues, slowing its progress compared to competitors. The team faces difficulties merging these new generative AI capabilities with the existing technology. So the new AI souped up version of Alexa that was demonstrated by Amazon at a past hardware event has not been widely released beyond a very limited preview, raising concerns among employees about its readiness and competitiveness. All right. So the company is striving to combine the current Alexa functionalities with these much more natural conversations with an AI assistant that we've seen these examples from OpenAI, that is obviously partnering with Microsoft and Apple, and we've seen it from Google as well. So reports are showing that Amazon is very far behind. Some pretty interesting kind of internal leaks from both current and previous employees, just kind of showing how difficult it has been at Amazon to push this new version of Alexa through the different ranks that it needs to go through. So, but despite setbacks, Amazon is remaining committed to enhancing Alexa through its new generative AI interface, aiming to provide a more proactive, personal, and trusted assistant to customers worldwide. All right, our last piece of AI news for the day. Yeah, literally everyone is talking about AI's impact, the good and the bad, including Pope Francis, as he warned G7 leaders of AI dangers at their recent summit. So, Pope Francis addressed G7 leaders at their summit in Italy over the weekend, emphasizing the importance of keeping human dignity at the forefront of AI development. So he warned against the potential risks of AI technology turning human relations into algorithms and stressed the need for human decision making to prevail over machine autonomy. So the Pope urged politicians to ensure that AI remains human centric, particularly in critical areas like weapon development, emphasizing the necessity of human control in the decision making process. So G7 leaders reflected the Pope concerns in their final statements, committing to better coordination of governance and regulatory frameworks to maintain a human centered approach to AI. So, leaders from the seven nations acknowledged the impact of AI on labor markets and the justice systems, expressing a commitment to pursuing digital transformation that prioritizes inclusivity, economic growth, and respect for human rights. Hey, sounds great, right? Bunch of kumbaya. Here's the thing. I don't think that's going to happen, right? I don't think that we are going to see, even amongst these G7 countries, which, if you don't know, that's the US, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the UK. I don't think we're going to see this worldwide kumbaya on AI. All of these things, if I'm just giving it to you straight, that's why you come and listen to the AI news that matters. There's nothing happening here. Like, I will tell you this, and I've been on the record about this for more than a year. There is going to be no meaningful regulation here in the US anytime soon on AI, period. I think US leaders, well, number one, Congress has no clue what AI is, right? I mean, you can even go, and we've shared this in our newsletter before, up a year ago, very prominent US senators still didn't even understand how the internet worked. So I would not expect anyone in Congress to understand artificial intelligence, especially generative AI, or to actually have any real regulation. But the fact, like, if anyone thinks that there is going to be some kind of global truce on AI in this real, truthful push for ethical or moral AI, not going to happen. Not going to happen, y'all. You've had economic analysts, warning, sounding the alarm, ringing the sirens, the red lights now for 3 years, saying that the US economy was going to be heading into a recession. And guess what I've said since the very day I started Everyday AI? I said AI, generative AI, is literally the one thing keeping the US economy from a recession. And that's just not my personal opinion. That is facts. I have shared the receipts. I have done the economic breakdown that literally no one else out there is doing, right? Because if you just look at the S&P's growth in 2023, 70% of it was from the Magnificent Seven, which are the seven companies pushing artificial intelligence, right? And up until 2023, I believe the biggest percentage that any seven companies ever had on the S&P, right? So if you look at the S&P's growth for 2023, about 70% of it came from just those seven companies. The biggest percentage any seven companies had previous to that, I believe, was less than 20%, which is wild. But what that means, let me boil it down for you, right? Smart people in the US have realized the one thing keeping America as a global superpower in the recent 2 years has been our advancement in being the world leader in artificial intelligence and in generative AI, right? I think China is right behind, and they may be giving the US a run for its money. But hey, to think, if we're looking at this story, to think that there's going to be some, G7 kumbaya, all these world powers getting together and having rules and regulations. No, this is just an unofficial handshake saying, yeah, yeah, we're gonna do good. We're gonna do good with AI. Don't you worry. Does that actually mean anything? Absolutely not. It means nothing. All right. That is it, y'all. That is it. So let me just go over a quick recap of what's going on in AI news for today. So number one, Apple is reportedly not paying OpenAI for its integration with GPT 4.0, and instead they're going to be getting paid in increased exposure. So, wow. Number two, Microsoft is delaying its recall feature on new Copilot Plus PCs that was supposed to ship this week. The recall feature was, however, due to privacy concerns, it looks like it's going to be getting tabled for now, but it will be getting released soon, according to reports. Number three, Luma's Dream machine has kind of beat Sora to the punch, at least being, I think, what is the highest quality available AI video tool that has hit the market publicly first. So again, I think a tier above what's available right now between Runway and Pika Labs, because we don't have OpenAI Sora and people in the US do not have access to Kling. Number four, according to reports, Amazon and their Alexa is struggling to keep up with their competitors and not being able to push the new, more natural and improved version of Alexa forward. And then last but not least, Pope Francis has met with world leaders at the G7 summit and talked about the dangers of AI. All right. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if it was. Uh, as always, if this was helpful, if you're on LinkedIn, maybe tag a colleague, click that repost button. We spend hours, literally every single day, to make sure that you only have the news that matters, bringing you guests. So if you could take 3 seconds to repost this, we'd appreciate it. If you're listening on the podcast on Apple or Spotify, please consider leaving us a rating. And y'all, you got to tune in tomorrow. You got to tune in tomorrow. I am both excited and a little nervous that my hour one AI clone is going to stump me, right? So I'm not alone, right? Even NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang had an AI clone of himself that he talked about as well. So you got to tune in tomorrow. I'm a little nervous, but I haven't seen any of this. I don't know what my AI clone is going to ask me. I believe this is the first time this has ever happened where an AI clone is going to be asking its human counterpart questions that the human has no idea. It's all going to be unfolding live. You got to tell a friend, a coworker. It's going to be a show you got to watch. So make sure you tune in for that one tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't, go to youreverydayai.com. Sign up for the free daily newsletter. Thank you for tuning in. You got to join us tomorrow for that show and every day for more everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.